Yeah, when you come to the map info or pixel center, you see that the pixel size X is 30, Y is 30, and then you also have the extent of the image. So this image covers this extent, and these are the coordinates, the upper left coordinates and then the lower right coordinates. And then you see the projection, that this image, the projection is UTM zone 30 with this spheroid and this datum. Right? We can also look at the parameters of the projection over here. The parameters of the projection are also shown here.
How do you get the image was captured?
The date. Yeah, the date over here, it will not appear over here. So unless we look at the actual metadata that came with the image, we will look at that as well. Alright, so this metadata is for the image that has been layer stacked. But if we want to see the actual metadata that came with this image, then we have to go into the folder, the Windows Explorer. So we have the tutorial data on the desktop. You can go there and then open the ERDAS 2010 and that's 2011, sorry, underscore tutor. Right, and then go into the data folder, and then the image we just opened is under raw images. So open raw images. No, we want to see the actual metadata, all right, of this image. So you can close this metadata you have opened, all right, and then yours is on the desktop. So go to your desktop, minimize all these, and then you go to the desktop. Yes. Yes. Mine is on the, so on your desktop, you have this folder. Please, are we all here? You have this folder. And then data. The image we just opened is over here, raw images. The metadata is this, the mtl.test. That's the metadata. So you open this with WordPad or Microsoft Word. This. Exactly, exactly. Yes, you should open it with Word or WordPad. Either Microsoft Word or WordPad. The mtl.test. mtl.tst. Okay, mtl, that's okay. You have plenty numbers. Yes, you are supposed to have plenty numbers. Exactly. Open with WordPad or Microsoft Word, not Notepad. Okay, so when we come here, we get other information about this image. And then if you want the acquisition, you have acquisition date over here. You have the acquisition date. So this image was captured on the 29th of December, 1986.
That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, that time I think I was 5 years old.
You were 5 years old.
Yeah. 1981.
You were born in 81.
Yeah. You don't believe it? Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, this one doesn't work. So unless you share with someone, all the pieces are occupied. Okay. All right. So please, this is the metadata. All right. All information about this image is over here. We see the acquisition date, acquisition time. We see the path. We see the role. We see the radiance values, the maximum and minimum radiance values. We see the gain. We see the cloud cover. The four corners and the overall cloud cover. Okay, so that's the metadata. All right, we close that. And then we go back into our ERDAS Imagine. The next thing we want to do is, how do you create a composite image like this? How do you layer stack all the bands? How do you put the bands together to create a composite image? Okay, so how do you create this? Before we do that, let's open one of the bands, maybe band 4, and then look at how that is also displayed. So let's go open, and then still we are still in the raw data. But this time the actual band image is a TIFF file, so we change this file type to TIFF. So you change this to TIFF.
Change it to TIFF.
Yes, TIFF. The file type to TIFF. Alright, and then we can open one of the bands. Let's say band 4.
What did you say?
Pardon?
We take band 4.
We should open band 4.
Band 4.
Yes. Yeah. The interactions and. Please, are we there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so band 4 is open, and all the bands, they come as single color. Single color. You realize that if you add a single color, you won't have the multispectral band, because the image you have added is not multispectral. It is more of a panchromatic image, and therefore the multispectral band changes to panchromatic. If I click on the multispectral one, then the multispectral tab comes. Okay. All right. So we have seen the difference between panchromatic and multispectral. All right. So the next thing is to layer stack the image. We will now combine all the 7 bands ourselves, and then do an arrangement under the multispectral. All right. We can combine. Yeah, it can be either checked or unchecked. So long as this one is lying on it, that will not be an issue. Okay. So we are going to put the 7 bands together, and instead of seeing them as a panchromatic, we will see it as a multispectral. So we will combine the bands together. Sorry for those who are facing this way. Unfortunately, it cannot. So maybe. So what we do is that layer stack is under the raster tab. If you come to the raster tab, raster, we are going to layer stack or create a composite. It's referred to as layer stack. It's under raster, and then you come to spectra. Under the resolution group, you come to spectra. You have layer stack here. Pardon? Yeah, so we want to combine the individual bands so that we'll see the image multispectrally. And that is referred to as layer stack within the system. It's layer stack. So we are trying to layer stack. And I said layer stack is under the raster. Under the raster tab, we are going to layer stack raster data. So raster. And then you see you have resolution here. This is referred to as a group. So you have resolution group, geometry group, raster GIS group. Under this resolution group, click the drop down next to spectra, and then you have layer stack. Click on it. Alright, and then the inputs, you have to navigate to where you have your raw image with the bands that you want to combine. So you click on the folder next to your input. And then our actual image is still within this folder, this image folder, raw images folder. But the extension is not IMG, so they are not appearing. It's TIFF, so you change this to TIFF. Because the save as type is TIFF, that's why it's appearing.
Yes.
The file type, sorry. Okay, so please, we have seen that these are the bands. We are going to add the bands one at a time. So you add band 1, you click on band 1. And then, okay. And then you see add there. Add, so you add. You do that for all the bands. We want to combine all the bands. So, band 2. Okay. You add. Band 3. Okay. You add.
Do we have one?
Yeah.
Band 4 is there already.
Band 4 is where?
We open it in the interface.
Yes, it doesn't mean that it's being added to the layer stack.
Oh, okay.
It's the band that we select here that will be added to the image you are trying to layer stack. Okay, so when you finish, then you define an output. Everything that we are doing, all our outputs will go into the exercises folder. So navigate to the outputs and then go to the exercises folder. I think I still have some things in the exercises folder. I have to come and delete. Okay, so in the exercises folder, name this as layer stack. Layer stack, and the extension is supposed to be IMG. The file type is supposed to be IMG. It should be in the exercises folder. Please watch, because when we finish, we will open it. It should be in the exercises folder.
The file type is IMG.
Exactly. Thank you. In the exercise folder, the name, layer stack. Yes. If you go to the ERDAS 2010_tutor, there are 3 folders: data, exercise, and then group work. So you are saving it in the exercise folder with the name layer stack. If you are done, you click on OK. And then when we come here, what we are doing is a union, not.
You are doing what? Union.
Yeah, I told them to delete everything. Then you go into the Windows Explorer and then delete. Alright, so you click on OK to run. So you click on OK to run a union for you.
we are done.
Okay, so you open it.
Open what?
You open the layer stack that we just did. You open it, and I think you know how to open. You go to file, open, and then you navigate to the exercise.
We need to close this.
Yes, you have to close this. Yes, close this. Charlie, you're enjoying them.
Show me our list.
Yes. So open the layer stack exercise that you just did. Open it. And then let's remove all the other layers and leaving only the layer stack layer. So right click on the layer and remove. Right click. Hey, what is happening? My own is something. Okay, so this is it. And like we did for the other one, we can also do same for this. You can change the band combination, you can change the color representation as well. subset that area. Right? And then there are ways, several ways of creating a subset. You can create a subset using an inquiry box. We have a box within the software that you can drag that box to the area you want to cut, and it will cut that area for you. An inquiry box. Or an inquiry box, sorry. Or if you know the coordinates, the 2 corner or 4 corner coordinates, you know the upper left coordinates and then the lower right coordinates. So this side and this side, the software will get it for you. Or you know the 4 corner coordinates. You can also use the 4 corner coordinates. So try to, yes, to create a subset or to play to mask a small portion of that. So we would first of all create a subset using the inquiry box. Alright, when you come to the home tab, we have inquire over here. And then we have inquire box. So if you click on inquire box, you realize that the box on the home tab, exactly, you have inquire. Pardon? You say what? Yes. But then you didn't add 7. No, you didn't add. You don't worry. So long as band 4, band 3, band 2 is showing, then you don't have a problem. Okay, so the box is added. The outline is white. Maybe you can't see because it's white. You can change the outline color. You see we have box color. We have box color here. The box is under inquiry. Go to the home tab. Can we finish before lunch? But the way we are going is unlikely. Yeah. Alright, so you can change the color to any color. Let's say red. The box color. You can change it to red. So I have changed mine to red. Senior, the inquiry box.
There's no ready. It's there.
No, I think you are not at it. You see, I said you have inquiry box here. This.
Yes.
Open this inquiry box. You can change the color here, box color. If you click on this drop down. The drop down, a lot of colors. You see what? Subsets, and you can even increase the size of the box. So let's say that I want to cut around, I want to create a land use around the lake. So I can bring a box around the lake like this. You can increase the box. You can increase the box. You can reduce the box. You can. This should have been maybe about 1 year or something. Okay, please let's move on, especially with the target that you have before. Okay. Alright, so where you are positioning this inquiry box is a place that you want to create a subset for. So if we want to create subset or clip, the technical word here is subset. So you look for create subset. That is under raster, under the raster tab. You see we have subset and chip over here. Alright, so you click on the drop down, you have create subset image. So you click on that, and then the subset dialog box opens for you. Please, are we all there? Are you there? On the drop down, you have create subset image. So click on that. Click on that. All right. You are supposed to have this window. Here, you need to specify your input. The image that you are creating the subset for. Here, because we have added that layer here, and the layer is selected over here, automatically, it appears here. Alright, because this layer is selected here, so it appears here. If we had several layers, then you can click on this drop down, all of them are supposed to show here. And then you select the image that is of interest to you. If it's not added, then you can also browse and go and select that image. Alright, and then you navigate to an output. Where are you saving the subset you are creating? In the exercises folder, let's name it subset. Subset. And the file type should be img. Okay. Okay. Alright, and then the next thing to do. Okay, please, we are here. I hope we are all up to this. You have specified the input and the output. All right, and then the next thing is the fact that we are creating a subset using an inquiry box. So the coordinates over here, these coordinates is the extent of this image. So this upper left coordinate is this place. And then this lower right coordinate is also this place. But we are just interested in this upper left and this lower right. And that coordinate is shown over here. Either you copy and come and paste it here, or you click on this from inquire box. And the coordinate here will be updated with the coordinates of the inquire box. So we click on this from inquire box and the coordinate is updated with this. Alright, so when you finish, that's all okay. Okay, if yours is done, you can open the subset you just created. Yes, you can close this and close the inquire box as well. Or just to be sure that It is actually that place. You can leave the enquire box and then open. This is a subset. It's supposed to lie directly over here. So mine is just there. It's just here. The enquire box inside. So I can remove this.
Can you move it?
Can you move? You can move the box, but you can't move what you have layer stack. You have layer stack as particular geographic location. You can't move that location too. But for the enquire box, you can move it. Okay, so I can uncheck this and I can fit to only this layer. Fit this layer to be alright. So I have this. I can do likewise. I can change the band arrangement and change the representation as well. Right click on the layer, the subset, and say that fit layer to window. So that only the subset layer is fit to the window. Then you can uncheck this one, the layer stack one. Okay, so we have created a subset for our image. You say what? No. Okay, I want us to go ahead. So this is some of the pre-processing exercises. We are supposed to do some geometric and radiometric correction, which we will do. We'll come back and do. But I want us to use this to do a supervised and unsupervised classification. And then we'll come and do the radiometric and geometric correction if time permits us today. If time doesn't permit, then when we meet tomorrow, we'll finish up on that. So this subset that we have created, we are going to classify this image. We are going to classify this image using both supervised and unsupervised classification. And the first thing to do is to determine the number of classes. If we are going to do unsupervised classification, then how many classes are we classifying this image to? So please, the subset you have created, look through carefully and then identify some colors. How many distinctive colors can you identify on that subset? Is it really 3? Are you sure it's 3? It should be more than 3. Because I see one here, this is deep red, I see light red, and I see this blue, I see this 4 of them, and there are some other white. That's about 5. Then okay, so we are going to classify the image according to the number of classes you identify, first of all by using unsupervised classification. Right. So unsupervised classification is still under raster. And then you go to the classification tab. You have unsupervised classification here. Alright, so select unsupervised classification. Please, are we all there? Unsupervised, okay. And then you select the image. You see that over here, any image that is selected, so long as it is selected, any process that you are doing that requires the input, what is selected is naturally selected, or by default is selected as your input. If that is not selected and is added to the layers to be here, then you can bring it, or you can navigate and bring it. Right, and then let's give it an output. The output, still in the exercises folder, let's name it unsupervised. Yes, the output image. The output. Yes. Yes, the output cluster layer. The output cluster layer. Unsupervised. 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 Yes, also as IMG. Okay. And then here, you can do an unsupervised classification, and then there are a number of classes that you have specified. You can generate signatures for those number of classes and use those signatures to do a supervised classification. Okay, so you can edit the signatures, enter the names of those signatures, change the colors of those signatures, and then use those signatures to do a supervised classification. Which in that case, then it means that we need to specify an output signature file. So that when this classification is done, the number of classes, if we specify 6 classes, then 6 signatures will be generated. Then we can go into that, edit the signatures, and use the signatures to now do a supervised classification. Right? Or you can do a supervised classification also from scratch. You have ground truth, and therefore you are going to use that ground truth to now generate your signatures yourself, and then use that to do a supervised classification. Okay, please, I hope it's clear. All right, so we are not interested in generating these signatures. When we finish, we'll generate our own signatures and use our signatures to do a supervised classification. So uncheck this. But then, if time permits and you want to practice, you can generate signatures and use it to practice. And then the number of classes, we said we identified how many colors, 6 or 5? 5, okay. So let's say 5 classes. And then you can also increase your number of iterations. The more you iterate, then the better the output. So you can increase the number of iterations, maybe 5, 6, 10. But as you increase it, then also your processing time is increased. So you will spend more time. I know you leave it at 6, so maybe you can increase it. Then the rest, you leave the defaults. And then, okay. Yes. Yes, please, you can take notes. The iteration will be written over here. If you finish the first iteration, it will be written here. You see, this is iteration 2, iteration 3. You know, it's very fast. It's very fast. Okay, so this is done. I have finished classifying this image using unsupervised classification. You can open it. So you can open the image you just classified unsupervised. You can open that. Alright, so this is it. Because this is unsupervised, we now have to edit the class names and then the colors for this image that has been classified. And therefore, we need to open the attribute. So you can open the attribute for this. You right click on the image that is classified, the unsupervised classified image, and then say display attribute table. Attribute table. No. So, how did you know that the land cover type? You were looking at. So you had an image that you were comparing. So that's what you do. It means that for this area, you have to be familiar with this area. Then, based on your knowledge of the area, you change the colors. Or if you have more information about Landsat images. Usually, if you do unscoped classification for Landsat images, the places that are very dark are usually water. You know, and the places that are very light, as you come down, more of those areas. Yes, you can close that. Yes, it's more of a built up. You know, either it's built up or it's a bare land. The vegetation has been cleared. Then the next one, change the next one to green. The deep green. And the last one. Red. And that's analyzed on because that is change that one to green, all the rest to green. No, that the same green, the same.
I need to follow your calendar, which you change my calendar.
So this one I have classified my own into just 3 classes. Just 3 classes. So there are various vegetation if you are rangeland or herbs or shrubs are vegetation. Great land where you have crops on it are vegetation, forests are all vegetation. So I have classified mine into just 3 classes. We have water. So the first one is water, all the rest are vegetation, and then the last one is built up. Just 3 classes. Okay, so that's unsupervised classification. When you finish, you have to change the names, so the class names. You have to change the class name, so maybe this is water. The next one is veggie. Okay, when you finish, you can add the area of the various land covers. You know, with the table still opened, with the table open, you have a table tab here. A table tab here, and then you can add area. You have add area here. And here they have only 3 units. Either you add your area in hectares, in acres, or in square miles. So I said you can add the area, the area of the various land cover types. Yes, that's on table. You see add area there. And then you select. the units. Yeah, hectares. Exactly. Okay, all right. So that's on supervised classification. So let's assume that we want to do a supervised classification for the same image. All right. Then, before we do the unsupervised classification, what we should do is that you have to go to the ground. Yes. Or you have either an area photograph from that same area that covers the same area that you can get training samples from that image. Right, and therefore you need training samples for all the land cover types, and then you use the training samples to get signatures on the image and use the signatures to classify the image. Alright, so we are going to do something like that, still using this image, the subset that you have created, so we can uncheck this, and then still using the same subset. We said we can see 5 classes, so we are going to classify the image into 5 classes. Alright, the first thing we need to do is to generate signatures. So you come to raster and still under supervise, under classification, this time supervise. This time supervise. Alright, and then we are generating signatures, so open signature editor. Signature editor. You can close the attribute table. You can save the attribute table and close. When you are closing, you will be prompted to save. So you can save. Signature edit. Go to classification. Supervised classification. Supervised classification, then go to signature editor. This one, signature editor. So the signature editor is opened for you. Okay. This one, what we are going to do is that you need to have identified your various land cover. So let's say that we have so we have water. Let's say we have forest. And then we have herbs or strass. Or you said grassland. Grassland. And then Bearland. Okay, so settlement. Alright. So we need, we have 4 classes, 1, 2, 3, 4. We need training samples for this. For all this land cover. Alright, and then we'll display those training samples on this. So you take the first training sample, maybe it's a water body. You display the water body on this image. You go to the ground and then pick some water body that you can identify on the ground. Or we can also pick an area photograph which the year is the same. And then you can also pick from the area photograph, you can see water body. You pick them. then we display them on this. You can display. Pardon?
With the candle, you can pick any point of there.
Yes, you can pick any point.
That's why
So long as you are picking points to represent all the various land cover. So you can pick any point on the lake, which is your water. If you come to where there is a forest, I think there is a forest here. So you pick points around this place, push you close as a polygon. This is a built-up. You pick some point within this built-up. Let's say this area is a grassland. You pick some point on this grassland. And what you are going to do is to generate signatures. So you generate a signature maybe for this place. And that signature will fall within a certain reflectance. When we start, you realize that we'll have values for this, green, red, and blue. We'll have values for this. So anywhere on this image with this same reflectance values should be given the same class. That's what we do in the supervised classification. I think that's what you did. So it's the same thing. Alright, so if you have your points, you can plot or you can load shape files as well. You know, you can open and then load shape files. We don't have shape files. We are going to imagine that we have shape files. And then you change this to SV shape file. You see we have shape file here. So you can plot your points in ArcGIS as a shape file. And then you can load those points. Imaginations is the power of inventions or something. That's what one. So it's always good to imagine. Okay, so we are going to draw, assuming we have displayed the signatures. We are going to draw polygons around those signatures. All right. So you open this drawing tool, this drawing tab, this drawing tab. All right, and then we are going to insert a polygon. So this one is for polygon. This one. Okay, this one. Exactly. So you pick that, and then you digitize your first land cover. So maybe the first one is water. So I have water here. I will digitize. This is water. So maybe my points are around this. I will digitize. This is water. Then come back to your signature editor. Open the signature editor. You have done for water. Okay. So we draw for one. This is the water. So maybe this is water. Then I will open my signature editor and then I'll click on add. This one, create new signature. This one, this thing that looks like a class. So what I have digitized will be added because that is active. You realize at the moment that is the active one. So you click on that and that is added. So you see that is added. All right. Okay. If you have more training samples for one land cover, you can merge. You can digitize all of them and merge. So maybe there is water here. There is another water at a different place. You can come back and digitize that water. Maybe another water here. Okay. Another water at a different place. So you can have more than one signature or more than one training samples. And then you come back and then you add that one also. Okay, please, if you add more than one, you should be checking this. You see, over here, the reflectance values are the same. Red, green, blue, the values are the same. If you have a very wide disparity or a very wide difference in the reflectance value, then it's possible that you have entered into a different land cover type or land use type, and that is resulting in this differences in the reflectance. So what we are telling the image is that anywhere that have these reflectance values should be classified as this class. We will change the name of this class to water and then change the color. So when the image is classified, you are not going to change the class again because the signatures, you have done that in the signatures already. Alright, so we will merge these two. You can select these two and merge. You can select them and then you have merge here. Merge. Pardon? You say what? Yeah, please. I am not saying that you should get the same. Your reflectance values might be different from my reflectance value because we are digitizing different places. Alright, so you select these two and then you can merge. Let's see. You see, you have merged selected signatures. So you can merge and delete these two. So you merge these two into one and you delete the two of them. So you merge this, and this is what has been merged. Therefore, I can delete what have been selected. I select them, I right click, then I delete this selection. Now I can change this class name to water. And usually, water is represented by a blue color. Alright, so I'll finish with the first land cover type. The second one is a forest. So I'll go to places where I think we have forest there, like this place. Like this place is a forest. Okay, all right. So please, we are going to do that for the other land cover types. The second one is the forest. Please, you are digitizing it. Okay, when you finish, you can remove it back. I'm not sure. There might be a confusion. You are digitizing into the classified one. Yes. I think quite a number of us are doing that.
No, we should digitize into the
subset. You can digitize, and then maybe when we go to the classification, you can select the subset. But sometimes, because you didn't classify it to the subset, there might be a problem. Okay, so uncheck that one, and rather check the subset. Yeah, that's all. recognize the other land cover, the second land cover, which in my case is a forest. So I have a forest here. I come back to the drawing tab. I'm going to draw. So I have a forest. Maybe this place is forest. I will digitize this place. And then add this forest. Maybe I have another forest somewhere here. Add this also forest. And then maybe I have another forest somewhere here. Add this one too. Okay, then I will merge. You see, if you look at this, the reflectances are not the same. They are not the same. Alright. But then they are not far from each other. They are all within 0.3. Is this one that. So this one, if I digitize another land cover type with this reflectance, then it is not responding. Oh. What a shock. Pardon? Please, it's time for lunch too.
No, it's 1:40. Oh, let's wait till we go. We can't talk more.
Or we should finish with the supervised classification. When we finish with this and we go for lunch, we are not coming back. But I need to make sure that mine is reserved. If it is not. No.
Let's finish.
Is there Dr. Manji?
Only you can talk.
You see? Because if I don't go early and I'm off here, to be a distance. Okay, so I'll make this one also, and then delete this one, and then I'll call this one forest. And forest is green, so green. This green. Okay. Please, are we all there? Okay, so the next one is grassland. So I'll digitize for grassland, and maybe my grassland are places where I have these white things over here are my grassland. So I'll digitize this area. It's grassland. Add it. This area is grassland. Add it. This area. Once you get a concept now, the rest are just repetition of. You make my life so beautiful. Are you going there? You are not going there. So I can remove this one, and then this one is grassland. And then I'll change the grassland maybe to orange. Now I'm left with a built up or the settlement. I demanded it. I'm going to mafia my because for the is it what? This one shall pass away. Yeah, this one shall pass. Yeah, so the settlement. Okay, so these are my built up. I make those ones, so then I delete this one. Then I call settlement and settle. Settlement, and then I give that one a color of red. Please, are we done with the signatures? Thank you. You are done. Thank you very much.
No.
What you have to do is that no problem. So you can change this Okay, so please, it appears quite a number of us are done for the signatures. So what you do, before you classify, you can do a separability test to make sure that that one is not even important. Let's move on and just classify. Separability, separated, ability. Me aka French pon am kind of more, but I said bro never hear it. You know, so you can do that. You can evaluate and see how the signatures are being separated, right? I will just show one of them and then we'll move on. So if you come to evaluate, you have separability. Okay, and then there are several of them here. Let's use this cell array. So the output will be a cell array. And then, okay, best average. All right. Okay, let's use this default, this Euclidean. So the distance measure is Euclidean, so Euclidean distance. And then the output should be cell array. And then we are going to use the best average. And then you click on OK. OK. All right, what this means is that this is the best average. If your signatures are separated, then if you match them, they should either be equal to this average or more than this average. Except you are crossing one signature against the same signature. So when we look at this is water 1 against water, it should be 0 if we are finding how water is separated from water. So the diagonal one should be 0. And then if we look at how water is separating from forest is 2. This is the separability value. That is less than this average. So it means that between water and forest, there is an overlap. They are not entirely separated. That is what this means. And therefore you need to do this. Make sure your signatures are separated before you go ahead to do your classification.
Where did you get this?
Evaluate. Separability. Yes. Change this ASCII to cell array. Yeah, the separability, this is your average separability value. So if all the combination of the classes, we are crossing the classes against each other like a matrix. So if we cross one class against the other and the values are not equal to or above the average, then it means that there is an overlap between those two classes. They are not entirely separated from each other. One class has entered into the other using their reflectance values. If we look at this, forest and then okay, water or forest, water, this is water 1, and then okay, water and then 2 is forest. This is their value, 1.4. Unfortunately, the 1.4 is below this average. So it means that between water and forest, they are not, and these two classes are not entirely separated. It is likely that water is entering into the forest class, or the forest class is entering into the water class.
The values you are checking, is it the last one?
Pardon?
The 4?
The what?
1.45 against 2.25.
This is you compare all the values to the average. If they are equal to or above the average, then they are separated. If it is below the average, then they are not separated. There is an overlap. If we look at this, for instance, this is 2.1. It means water is entirely separated from grassland. Water is entirely separated from settlement. You get that? And this came as a result of the reflectance values. The reflectance values, it means that if you look at the reflectance values, there is an overlap between these classes that we are crossing. Then it means that you have to now go back and digitize. Yes, again. Okay, so we move on. Alright, so we will save this. You can save this signature. You can save this file, save as. Then let's save it in the exercises folder. We'll finish. We'll need to finish in the next 5 minutes. So let's save this in the exercises folder. And then call this one signature. Okay. Then you can say okay. Alright. Then you can classify here. Supervise, classification, supervise, classify. Either you click on classify here, or you can even close this. You can close this when you come to raster. We have classification, supervise classification. But since the signature is still open, just open the signature editor, classify, supervise classification. Okay. Then choose your input image. The input image, sorry, the output image, sorry. Okay, so let's choose. Aha, so you see, you know, if we are classifying with this, this is what I spoke about. So if you were digitizing into the classified, the one that was classified, there will be a problem. Let me close this one and rather use this. Supervise classification. Okay, so that will allow me to select the input. You close. If you have saved, please, if you have saved the signature, close the signature editor. Then let's come to the raster tab. Supervise classification. And then choose supervise classification. Are we here? Okay. And then we will choose our inputs. The input is a subset. It has been selected. And then you browse and select your signature, the signature that you just saved. You browse and go and locate that signature. It's in exercises. Signature is here. Okay. That is your input signature. Input signature file. And then you navigate for your output. So classified image, that is your output. So this is my output. So I'll call this one supervise. Okay. If you are done, you click on OK. It's supervised, and it should be in the exercises folder.
So we go and check.
So you need to navigate to the exercises folder. Just click on the folder and go to the exercises folder. And their name should be supervised. The file type should be IMG. Okay. Alright, so if you have done that, then you click on OK. Yeah, there might be problems, especially for those of us who were digitizing into the was that mean that I was also doing the same thing? For those of us who are digitizing into the unsupervised, so ideally this layer should have been removed. So let me open and see whether the thing came. There is a distance. Yeah. So I have to generate the signatures again. And I think it happened like that because for most of us the upper layer was the supervised layer. That was the upper layer.
We use the subset.
There's not much.
Pardon? Pardon?
We use the subset.
So none of us have any outputs. None of us. But then the upper layer, I don't know how many of us had ours with this one selected. If it was selected like this, then it should come. Then we have to, it means that most of us, or apparently all of us, were digitizing into them. I forgot, in fact it escaped me. We should have removed that layer entirely and just leave just the subset layer only. Yes, but we have to go for lunch. I think for me, I'm not even let's fast.
I think you're